In our Sunrise Spotlight this morning, a conversation about ways to curb Portland's record gun violence. The shootings we're seeing today made me think back to the city's very first gang-related drive-by. That was in 1988. At the time, Portland leaders were desperate to do something, and they did, but they didn't do it alone. Tony Hopson was one man who helped back then, and now decades later, he and his nonprofit are still working with youth on the streets. He sat down with me to talk about how to change things, restore public safety, and show kids who are falling through the cracks that they have options besides violence and crime.
The main message that we're trying to put here is that
when it comes to intervening in the lives of underserved youth and families in Portland, Self Enhancement Inc, or SEI, is a leader. It serves kids wherever they're at risk, in school, at home, and in the community. It works with them from 6th grade all the way through college, or until they find a living wage job. Tony Hopson founded the nonprofit 40 years ago on North Kirby Avenue.
This is not a job, this is a way of life.
SEI's motto is Life Has Options. It exposes kids to everything from the performing arts to athletics, and the focus is always community.
It's about giving back to the very community that raised me and raised a lot of individuals who look like me. So my entire life's work has been about community.
And teachers and counselors and administrators have identified those students as having a lot of potential but lacking in some areas. And because they're lacking in some of those areas, they run the risk of falling into negative peer pressure.
That was Tony Hopson in 1988. In that archive clip, when he talks about peer pressure, he's talking about gangs. In the late 80s, the Bloods and Crips had come to Portland from South Central Los Angeles to sell drugs, primarily crack cocaine. The violence was devastating the black community, and kids in the fledgling SEI program were not immune.
At 12:30, shots rang out. 3 people were in this playground at the Columbia Villa housing project.
That was KGW reporting on Portland's first drive-by shooting on August 17, 1988.
An eyewitness heard tires squeal and shots being fired.
Hopson knew the shooter and the victim, Ray Winston, a Roosevelt High School athlete who police say was also a member of the Columbia Villa Crips. The 2 teens were also SEI kids.
I don't think they had a beef with each other. They had been playing basketball in our camp just a couple weeks prior to that. So it really wasn't a personal thing. It was just a matter of being affiliated with 2 separate gangs.
After that shooting, desperate to stop the violence, Portland leaders gave SEI money to expand, transforming it from a week-long summer basketball camp to a year-round program for kids and their parents. As it did then and still does today, SEI serves all aspects of a family's life, offering help with employment, housing, healthcare, addiction, and more.
I tell folks, show me an at-risk kid, I'll say follow that kid home and I'll show you some at-risk adults. Don't have a youth problem in America, we have an adult problem in America. When adults get it right, kids will get it right.
Looking back on the arc of the last several decades, Hopson says he sees parallels between what happened then and the record number of shootings plaguing the city today.
The same reasons why many individuals found themselves in gang activity then still exist today. In fact, it's worse.
Hopson says Portland leaders are failing to get a handle on gun violence because they're spreading resources too thin over multiple places, programs, and people.
We never get the job done because we do enough work to make a difference, but we never do enough work to make the difference. If you want to make the difference, then you go all in and you put enough resources to make the problem go away, not to just soothe the problem. And all we do is soothe the problem. We make it a little bit better, but we never make it go away because we never put enough money in it. You find the programs that work, you give them the money, and you let them go do what they do.
He preaches prevention and intervention. But Hopson says we can't restore public safety without police.
I mean, we got to have police to hold criminals accountable. But before that individual became a criminal, if we had services and activities, there would be less of them. I mean, coming out of the George Floyd stuff, I mean, that was just so devastating to watch, that it was all kind of anti-police. Well, yeah, we're all anti that kind of police officer. We're all anti that. You can't be human and look at that and not know that that ain't correct right there.
Like so many cities in the wake of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, Portland is at an inflection point. But Hopson says he'll always be hopeful, believing the current crisis will open doors for new solutions in the future. And after 40 years of doing this work, here's what he knows for sure.
The most success that we've had is because of our willingness to actually establish a real personal relationship with a kid and a family. Everybody wants it, everybody needs it, and all of us have the ability to share ourselves in that way. That is truly the answer.